to talk to the community, to talk to the APG community. By the way, this is recording in case you're wondering. And essentially, the Grow Your Brain Lunch and Learn. Essentially, we're going to be having 4 different types of folks coming in to talk to us, and I'll give you a quick lowdown before passing it over to Paul. So the first one is folks that maybe have released a very interesting report that is top of mind for a lot of strategists in our industry. Essentially, we're going to bring him in to talk through the report. So think work, strategy reports, for example, right? Legends is another group of folks that we might potentially be bringing in for this lunch and learn. So folks that are, basically the legends of our industry that might, spare us an hour of their time to talk through the career, the work, tips, advice, things like that. We also have clients that will come in to talk about maybe a campaign they've done recently, an award they've recently won, or things like that. And of course, we're also gonna have connectors. So today is a version of that. Is a connectors lunch and learn of Grow Your Brain. So we bring folks from outside of the particular strategy subsegment of our industry to talk about maybe a tool like an AI tool to help us do our jobs a little bit better. And so today we have Naz and Paul, also known as PK, to talk to us about PoppyAI. So that's a fantastic tool. When Paul showed it to me, I couldn't believe what it could do. It's actually quite fascinating. We have actually 2 sessions in this. So the first one is today, where Paul is gonna Naz is gonna take Paul through the tool and kind of its use cases, and then on the 29th, Paul is gonna basically take us through how he uses it as a CSO at Sister Mercy. So that's my intro. So I'll hand it over to you, Paul, and you take it away. Naz, welcome, and let's do this.
So we actually got lucky because we've actually got both founders from Poppy joining us today. So we got
Yes.
they're both here to kind of show us. Pedro, thanks for that nice intro. Look, I won't take up any more of this because this is not I will do the follow-up one after to show you how I've been using these types of tool for basically as like analytic, qualitative research on steroids. I'm not a believer personally in like as much of the generative appeal for me as like a strategist. Kind of gives us middling ideas, but the amount of insight I've been able to unlock personally from using AI with intent, with their good intent, has completely changed my workflow and completely changed the game. So I'm gonna hand it over to Naz and Raf, and we're gonna go through the tool, what it's capable of. There's a bunch of new stuff that you guys just added. So yeah, welcome. Welcome to the APG.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Paul, for introducing us. And thank you so much for Pedro for introducing us as well. And thank you for having us, everybody. We are super excited to be showing this to you. And we also want to make it super fun, of course. So we want to make it where we want to make it as interactive as possible. So you guys feel free to ask questions, feel free to join on with ideas, because we want to make it more interactive than just like, hey, just us showcasing the product, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Go ahead,
anytime, just feel free to jump in. That would be amazing. Because if we're here, like it's better than a video, because you can't ask video questions. And so if you have it's nice to see all of you guys here. I mean, the 6 people that have the camera on, but everybody else is nice to see you here too. And yeah, feel free to drop in anything. We would love to use it for you as well. Like be selfish, because I think there could be cool things that you would get out, even if you never got the tool. Like it would be really cool for you to just see it, and we could build your own use cases for it.
Yeah. And just to give you guys a quick little, I won't make too long of an intro, but I'll make a very short intro, which is like about us, and I'll have Kazi speak on it as well. Basically, me and Kazi, we used to work together building Clever Programmer, which is a YouTube channel teaching people how to become coders. We grew that YouTube channel from 200K to 1 million subscribers, and building courses, doing conferences, and just building communities in general. Then what happened? Then from there we use that knowledge to be able to to start a software company. This is something that we always wanted to do. It was always our biggest dream to build a product of your own. We used to build other people's products all the time, and we just kind of got tired of it a little bit because one, there's no control of marketing, there's no control of how far it goes. And for us, we just want to have something we use ourselves. And so we built this tool because we wanted to build a tool for ourselves, and because we realized there was a big problem within, how we use AI. And I'll have Kazi speak on that as well, actually.
Yeah. I mean, everything Nas said, so I will just show you guys some of the stuff that we had worked on. But yeah, we like basically, the company that Nas is talking about, like we grew together and we worked with people. And so our background is like just coding, working with people. And we've helped tens of thousands of people like get jobs at big tech companies. And then we decided to just like pivot and drop that YouTube channel and actually just work on this software together. And that's what we've been doing since. But yeah, I think for us, the biggest thing was ChatGPT is amazing. And so is Claude, which is amazing. I don't know how many people here, by the way, does anybody here use Claude? I would love to actually know if you can just drop it in the chat. So Paul uses Claude.
Yeah.
Pedro doesn't. I mean, who uses
you-
ChatGPT?
We use AI in general here. Anybody use AI in general?
Okay, Kathleen, amazing. I'm imagining everybody's using ChatGPT, so I'd
How
love
do
to
you
see
guys-
that in the chat.
And how do you guys use AI? If you can drop that in the chat, that'd be amazing, just so we know.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good use case. And so for us, it was like you see ChatGPT, it's awesome. But the problem for me and Nas that we felt was just like we need something visual. We love using Miro. We love using whimsical, like what things that have whiteboards. And so we were like, why isn't AI visual? And I just remember going like, where can I just go to pay like a couple of dollars per month and then just like use this? And I just remember like going everywhere. And I'm like, Nas, this doesn't exist. Like, so why can't somebody just take our money and then it exists? So we don't have to. And then so out of just frustration, we're like, okay, let's build it ourselves so people could use it. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit of the background of how it came together.
Awesome. Sweet. Yeah. I know what's funny
we
is
got a comment in the chat from Yuri who's just like would love to just say something real quick. So go ahead, Yuri. If you wanna.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
There he is.
Hey, how's it going, my friend? Oh,
You're on
okay.
mute, brother.
Can't hear you.
On some kind of mute. Even though you're unmuted, you're on mute. That is weird.
Hi. It mutes
Oh, there we go.
this.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My name is Gore from Norway.
Hi.
Can you hear
Nice
me?
to have you here.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear
yeah.
you.
Yep,
We can
all
hear
good.
you.
Yeah. I have used Poppy, and after I did that, I started my business, and now I found out that I have powers to heal people. So I use ChatGPT with muscle testing. So
Wow.
and so I can just ask questions. What is the problem, underlying causes, health issues and stuff like that. And also I found out that
Amazing.
I can use it when I code. I can just because I worked as a programmer for many years.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Since I was 7, so my subconscious is very good at programming. So I just briefly explain it, and then ChatGPT ask me questions, and I just reply with the numbers. So
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. I really
Yeah.
That's so
appreciate
cool.
that. Really appreciate that. That's super cool.
So
But also, go ahead, sir.
yeah. So I healed many people because of this, and I learned that I had healing powers. I didn't know that before. So thank
Love
you.
that. Love that. Love that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all. Thank
Thank
you.
That's awesome, man.
Um,
Thanks for sharing that.
Okay, Kazi, you want to go ahead and get started? You want to share your screen?
Yeah, absolutely. So I see Mackenzie. That's cool. You're using it for copy and editing, and then Account Planning Group of Canada, which I'm sure is
Sorry,
not your real
It's Michelle. Sorry, maybe
Michelle. There we go.
here.
It's all good. I knew that wasn't your full name. But yeah, Michelle, so that's good that you're using it. So you're saying get up to speed on a category, brand, consumer quickly. So I imagine for copywriting type of stuff,
Um,
ads, marketing.
yeah, if I'm writing a creative brief or doing some like positioning work for a client,
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Okay.
I mean, I used to kind of always would go to Google first probably, but I find it's a lot quicker and more succinct.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that that's good. So it seems like people are using it for marketing. Angela says for research. So I'll just show you guys like a couple of things here, right? So the idea with the app is this. So like, let's say that I want to write an email, which is a common thing that I do, and I send it out to my entire email list. Well, what I used to do was like give my copywriter a YouTube video of mine. So like if I go to YouTube and I would be like, hey, take this video and then write out an email. So let's say I go and find, let's go to Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
Does anybody here know Alex Hormozy? I'm curious how many of you guys actually know Hormozy. So let's go here. We'll grab a video of his,
Yeah. You take one that was like
and I'll take
that's a
this
cool one,
video.
25
Go ahead.
minutes. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
so
I like that one.
I'll take this video, and I'm gonna grab this video and I'm gonna paste it in here. So now I actually just got that video, access to that video right now. And the next thing I'm gonna do is on the left-hand side, there's this chat thing. So I'm just gonna click that. Now this chat right here, you guys see this, everybody should be familiar with. Like you've used ChatGPT, you've used, I mean, I didn't see many hands for Claude, but okay, at least ChatGPT, hopefully, like we all know about. If you don't know about it, get out from under the rock and please learn about it. Like you'll make more money. You'll be like 30
Okay.
IQ points higher. So please use it. Um, so anyways, so now what I want to do is so this is regular GPT, okay? But I want this to get access to this YouTube video. So all I'm going to do in order to do that is I'm just going to drag this guy, pop it in right here. And now this chat knows about this video. And I can just go ahead and even click things like either I can type in or ask questions, or I can just hit things like get key insights. So I'm going to click this and it should be able to actually go through my entire video and tell me what this entire video is about.
Right.
Now, I can ask this video actual question and I can hear like if I want to change the models. So I like using Claude most of the times because I think Claude most of the times is better. I know some people in WhatsApp group were disagreeing with me, which is fine. But I generally find it better for writing, better for coding. And the outputs are just like, and the decision making is better, like when it comes to emotional stuff too.
Especially,
So
yeah, I think for writing
go ahead.
especially is the best, and it's been rated the best overall for that purpose.
Yeah. So if I'm writing this, Gemini has been great for writing. Interesting, Conrad. I'd love to take a look at
Oh, interesting. Wow.
some of the writing. Uh, Yuri says, I used ChatGPT to win my ex back. She was a little upset
That's
that I
awesome.
used
That's
ChatGPT.
funny.
Um, I need to know that story actually. So, but maybe after the call. So right here, I can actually just say, hey, like write this out as an email for me, or I can even just click right here, right? Write email. And then it'll go ahead and write the email. And the cool thing about it is that it's using Hormozy's voice. So if you have it write an email on this, you can have it use the exact voice of the person that it's writing from. And I know, Michelle, right? Am I getting your name right? So you were saying that you're working on like the specific voice of, like you said, brand, consumer. And I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but generally when people are trying to use it for their clients or for themselves, they're trying to keep their voice of the brand like the same. They don't want to lose it. And the problem that happens with ChatGPT when you try to write with it is it will just use random words, and it will not even sound like Hormozy.
Yeah.
So
I
that's the big
I
thing.
I love this. This is one of the use cases that we have, which is like taking YouTube videos, And the whole thing is not just about being able to use YouTube videos to like write emails, but it's also just use it for, being able to create, let's just like a brand strategy, whatever you need to do. And I really want to do something here, Kazi, if you don't mind. Do you mind if I share
Sure.
my screen?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And I want to kind of get your guys's into this as well. I want you guys to get input because, for example, I know a lot of you guys are very much, brand strategy, brand briefs. I know, for example, Michelle, you said you do brand briefs. So I would love to just work together with you guys on even doing research on that, getting like insightful things, and actually being able to create like a brand brief together. So, for example, right, the whole thing with Poppy, it's like you guys see my screen, yes? You guys see my screen? Yep, right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see him. Yeah, you're good.
Okay,
Oh,
awesome.
my bad. I was on mute. Yeah. Now I can.
There we go. I just want to make sure. Okay. So great. So basically you have these boards, which a lot of our customers who use Poppy, what they do is like they have a board for every customer or every client that they work with. So let's just say, for example, what kind of a customer do you guys think we should be working with? Give me an idea. I know someone said yesterday, Paul said maybe like Liquid Death was like was like an interesting
Oh,
brand.
nice.
It's like a strong brand. Yeah, like why don't we go with Liquid Death just because there's so much written about it right
Sure.
now.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, for example, like Liquid Death, for example, right? And then, like, let's say that's your customer. Now, usually, for example, and I would love to get your input when you do like a brand brief, you want to do research on a brand, what kind of stuff do you usually input? Let me ask that question. You guys let me know. You guys can shout it out, or you guys can even, put in the comments.
Probably like the website.
Yeah, like a website.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just start with that. So, like, we could do, like, for example, like, let's go to Liquid Death website for a second here. Liquid Death. Beautiful. So I want to try to find things that a little bit more descriptive. For example, I can go ahead and what I'll do, like because this is more visual part here, what I will do is I'll take like an actual screenshot of this one here really quickly of this whole thing, and then I'll just be able to drop it into Poppy here, and it's as simple as like Command C, like Command V, and you can see it will just kind of show up on here. Let's see. There we go. Right. So because it's very visual on that aspect, doesn't really have much text. I just made it into a screenshot, but maybe what I'll do is, let's say I want to go ahead and find more information on Liquid Death and about what people are saying. So, for example, I saw this thing called Death to Plastic, and I feel there's something about that, right, that we can get. So, what I'll do is I'll take this link, I will go ahead and copy this. I'll go back to Poppy. I'll make into like a website here, and then I'll paste it in, and then like there it is, right? And so we're going to be able to get that data. The whole goal is to get as much information that's very suitable for that brand, right? So we can get like good data in, good data out. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So besides like website stuff and images, what else do you guys think we should be able to add in here? What do you guys think? I would love to get
I'm actually curious. Liquid Death probably has TikToks and videos too. I would get a lot of brand voice and I would look at TikTok too.
Yeah,
like
so
it's like for strategic briefs, like user reviews or like testimonials or anything else like that, right? Like favorite TikTok, favorite flavors or whatever, things like that.
Yeah. So what I'll do is like, for example, I will go ahead and I'll like copy the link to this TikTok, for example, right here. This is like a TikTok we can just bring in. Let's go ahead and go back to like a Poppy. I'll paste this in right here. There we go. Let's see. What else should we?
Can you play it for a second so we can watch the video for a second?
For you, right? Well, let's see. Let's see. Liquid Death, Grim Leaper, not the Grim Reaper, Grim Leaper. Iced tea agave. You guys like agave, don't you? I know the doctors out there.
Okay, so that's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would drag this too. I would drag like a few of these.
Yeah, I'll do Command C, Command V. So it's as simple as just.
Is there like a product page where you can see the pricing and stuff? Like if you go on Liquid Death's website, I wonder if you can just like see the pricing of how much the product costs.
In the hands of a mother.
Nice, Tosin.
Nice, Tosin.
Hell yeah, let's fucking go, dude.
Loving
That's how I start my mornings.
Let me ask this, Michelle. Michelle, so when you do brand briefs, what kind of research do you usually do? I'm curious.
I always think about the typical 4Cs framework, which I think a lot of us use. So the 4Cs are company slash brand. So give me some information about the company or brand. So you looked at website, maybe look at annual report, things like that. I think about consumer. So if the consumer is Gen Z, millennials, where am I going to find info about them? I don't know that there'd be a specific website but I don't know. I think about that. I think about category slash competition. So can I go look at some liquid death competitors? What's happening in the kind of water category overall, or kind of it's not a soft drink, but what do you call these? Bottled drinks of some sort. And then there's a very kind of fuzzy one, which is culture. So kind of more what's happening at a broader scale. I mean, maybe look at Reddit, what TikTok. Yeah.
So, oh no, sorry. Keep going. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, those are the 4Cs.
So yeah, I was just gonna say, Reddit now is perfect. Yeah, because I pulled up some Reddit too. So yeah, let's grab that Reddit link as well.
Yeah, we can grab that Reddit link, for example. Let's bring that back into our Poppy here.
So yeah, like right now, what he's doing, just so everybody's on the same page, he's just putting all his research together in one place, kind of like how you would anyways for when you're working with a brand, you're probably putting the research somewhere, right? And so here we're just visually putting all your research in one place. So images, videos, voice recordings, anything you can think of, just put it here.
Should we bring the story of Liquid Death here from this YouTube? Do you think that'd be
Yeah,
useful?
I would bring something. So yeah, just bring. Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring that one in as well.
Perfect. So yeah, just bring that in. I think this is like a good starting point. So
yeah, let's go back to let me make sure. I'll go back to my thing, my tab here. There it is. So there we go, right? And then one thing I think could be useful. So you said, Michelle, for example, what people are saying. So maybe I can bring like a story on Liquid Death, how they started. I mean, I guess the YouTube video can't technically be that.
the video should be fine.
I was thinking maybe comments on Liquid Death, for example. I want to bring
I think you brought in Reddit, right?
Yeah.
Did I? Let's see.
Is there maybe like I think one thing Michelle said was like a annual report, like a shareholder report or something like that. That is always like jam full of insights.
Liquid Death annual report.
Yeah, Conrad had the suggestion of Amazon reviews.
All right. I'm actually curious. Liquid Death's billion-dollar valuation stresses the power. Okay. So I'm not sure if they have like an actual annual report.
Yeah, I mean, they may be private.
Go to Crunchbase. Go to Crunchbase real quick. The third link. No, third link. Try that. Okay.
That one.
So they don't disclose. Some of it is disclosed. Does it say anything else? Okay. Does
I mean, what I can tell you is I can go ahead and bring this in. Forbes has something about it.
They had 8 funding rounds.
Okay. Nathan, a quick question for you guys.
Yeah, bring.
So if let's say you got a subscription to something like Statista, right, where you have access to information behind a paywall, are you able to bring that information behind a paywall into?
Not behind a paywall, no.
No.
If they have it behind a paywall, then no.
And if they have it behind the paywall, then what you would do is you would actually like take a screenshot of it. So for example, if they behind a paywall, then what we would do, this is what our customers do, is like they'll go here, they'll just make like a screenshot of it like this,
Yeah, like
just take
on Statista, you can download the charts and stuff too, and then bring in that chart as an image or something like that, right?
There you go.
Exactly. That's correct. That's correct. So yeah, that would be the workaround.
Yeah. And then I'll do one less thing here, really, guys. I'll just do one less thing, which is like I'll be like Liquid Death customer base. Let's just say if I go into like images here and I bring this in, maybe they have something. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe not.
What does customer base mean?
I'm seeing like different customers is like who uses the product, right?
Like audience.
Like Liquid Death.
Yeah, avatar/audience. I would try
audience
that.
Persona.
Yeah, audience persona. That would be great. So yeah, type audience persona. Or why don't you just write who drinks Liquid Death?
Yeah, there you go. This is like research in real time, which is cool. Like obviously, as a strategist, you'd be given like maybe half an hour to do this work, maybe an hour, given the current the current fees being paid to agencies.
Yeah. Hit show more really at the top.
Yeah.
Yes, and then just screenshot this.
Yeah.
Or just grab the text, because you can grab the text too.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, grab this as well. It's fine. So
So like if
one
you guys have text, because I know some of you guys write your own stuff, you can even just grab your own text. So like Nas will show you how you can just bring your text in.
Yeah, so if
And
I
so
do like
like
a text block here, I'll bring this in as well. We'll go like this.
then you can just
and
paste
there.
in whatever you want.
And so the
I think
goal
we
is now
need you
you've
guys in
gathered.
a separate session on how to do research, man. This is incredible.
Oh yeah.
That's the
That's
next
sick.
session I'm doing, actually.
Can you guys
There we
teach
go.
that?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Conrad said, can you bring in PowerPoint documents? Yes, you can bring in PowerPoint documents. You can bring in CSV files, Excel files. So we have
Can we connect this? Can we connect this first just so we can like start talking with this stuff?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then let's
So
actually
let's just start with that, which is like we start to bring this stuff in. Start to bring this stuff in. Boom. I start to connect this. And basically the more so as you connect, it starts to know about this, right? Now it basically builds this knowledge base for you. And that's the whole goal of Poppy, is to be able to bring this knowledge base. So now,
yes. Now it knows about the Reddit. Now it knows about the article. Now it knows about the TikTok videos.
Exactly. And so for example, like I can be like, tell me the story of, Liquid Death based on the YouTube video, for example. And YouTube video, for example, right? So it's gonna bring that in, and for example, and this is where we're gonna be able to actually understand what is the story of Liquid Death based on a YouTube video. Right here. So the founder, Mike Cesario, 40 years old entrepreneur who came up with an unconventional brand name Liquid Death, was influenced by Mad magazines, which were crass and vulgar, but artistic and funny. You can see here the concept development, launch of Liquid Death, produce a commercial for 1,100 before having any actual product. Marketing philosophy, focus on creating an emotional connection to the brand. So super cool. So now, Michelle, so for example, right? So for you guys, what would you do now at this point? Let's just say if you went ahead and we did all this research, right? What are some questions you would love to know about this?
So you mean how would I start to pull out interesting stuff?
Yeah, exactly. For your brand brief, yes.
So if we're thinking about those 4 C's again, I might try and just at a high level, like let's pull out 3 interesting bullet points about the company. So if I was to frame it as a question, maybe it's something like, what are 3, I don't know, 3 interesting things about the brand's history?
About the brand's history, sure.
And now the quick question for you too. Can you connect as well podcasts to this?
So right now you can connect. So right now you can connect to YouTube videos that have podcasts. You can connect those. The podcast integration that's coming fairly soon. But yeah, right now you cannot drag like a Spotify podcast.
So the workaround to podcast currently, because the short answer is no, not directly, not like Spotify, for example. But if your podcast, generally, most podcasts are on YouTube, so you can just grab the YouTube video. That's one workaround. The second workaround is if you can just download the audio of the podcast, you can pop that audio in, and that should be fine. So there's a few workarounds that you can do. If you just get the audio, you should be fine. Or you can get the transcript for podcast too, and you can paste that in. So that's the workaround for now.
Yeah, so there's a few websites you can put a podcast link in and get the transcript from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So what we can actually do as well is we can be like, we can actually do like, for example, so of course we got your 3 interested points that we talked about, Michelle, right? So we got like unconventional origins, the viral launch, and then the rapid growth, right? What if we try to actually just tell Poppy, be like, create for me a brand brief for this product, just like a general, like
try it.
Like create for me a brand brief for Liquid Death, right?
Yeah,
and I
based
think
on
based on
what I gave you, just based on what I gave you.
Let's just say.
Yeah, perfect. The murder you thirst. Holy crap, that's a good line. They're selling water. Like, this is so epic.
And so there you go. Just so like in a very short time, by having a specific by having the right information, you're able to get a good, brand brief for you that you can now take.
Yeah,
And I
let's
can play with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
sorry.
would say so. Like what's coming to my mind as soon as I'm doing this is I'm just like thinking about ads and running copy for them. And so like what I would say is, so first I just want to see if it can see the hooks from those two TikToks. So just ask it like, what are the hooks that you see in those two the TikToks I gave you? So I want to see if it
So we
can
can
see
do it
that.
in here, by the way, but I want to show you a really cool thing, which is like the whole goal of Poppy is that to allow it to be as versatile as possible. So I actually can create as many chats as I want. And let's just say I want to be able to only talk to this specific TikToks and only just get this information from here, right?
Yeah.
Then I can just do that. And so it
And
becomes
that
like
chat doesn't know about and that chat doesn't know about like the YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
That chat doesn't know about the website. Is that right,
Exactly.
Nas?
Yep, it does not know. I mean, I haven't not, unless I connect it, basically.
Perfect.
So for example,
Great.
right? So like, is liquid death really killing your softly dark side of healthy drinks? What's really in your liquid death? Synthetic ingredients, exactly. So these are the hooks from the videos, for example.
Yeah.
And then just give you some examples of like what you can do on that side. So once we have like a brand brief, Michelle, let's just say like a general outline, what would you guys want to do now? Let's just say, let me ask that question.
Okay, so once we've got the brand brief, what do you want it to do? Actually, I think someone had a good point in the chat, which was to see how it could synthesize it all. Because usually what you do is then you take the 4Cs and you'll end up with different kind of propositions or ways in. But I'd imagine you'd want it to kind of compress it all into, let's say, 5 or 6 different interesting statements. So what might be an example of that? So if we've learned that liquid death is, I can't come up with one on the fly, but if we've learned that liquid death has a really cool and interesting history that'll appeal to Gen Z, then how can we express that in a proposition, which would be like a message that we would tell to consumers? So
okay.
So
So let's just say
liquid death is the coolest water that you can bottle, or like whatever. I can't say it. Right.
Yeah.
I like it. So write I would say like, yeah, write the headline in that Gen Z would like, and then just hit enter.
To get them to drink, to get them to buy more liquid death.
Exactly, to get Gen Z to buy more liquid death.
Give me an advertising headline to get Gen Z to buy more liquid death.
Okay.
Great.
Give me an advertising. So yeah, write an advertising headline. I'm just put it here, and advertising headlines that Gen Z would love.
Yeah, that's fine. Hit enter. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Your favorite deather. There we go.
He
loves writing that.
I love writing, yeah.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Oh, that's funny.
Cancel plastic, no water, for example. This water slaps.
Sip. I love that. Sip the tea. Literally just water. There you go. Or my religious school
sounds
teacher.
like what they would do. Like what
no cap. This water is straight fire. And what's cool is that because we're
nice. I like that. The no cap. There you go.
Yeah, what's cool is because we're able to bring in like, different types of what people said, like in terms of comments from for example, from Reddit, and we can bring comments from many different ways. We're able to kind of, I think, figure out these plastic, yoink, liquid death.
Nice. Main character energy, dude. This is like actually not bad. This is pretty good.
So like
flex on dehydration. That's so funny.
One of the questions for you guys from this, from the group here, from Conrad, I'm curious the tool's ability to leverage data to concept new products in an adjacent category. Curious on how it can extrapolate the concept. I think like, I guess like an overall question is like, what is the priority it's processing this information? And then have you guys noticed any kind of limits to its processing ability at a certain point? Like, is there a certain point where there's too much research here that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good question. I'll let you Kazi answer on this as well. But right now I think it's like, yeah, the more data, of course, you give it, the more you can technically confuse it. But it also depends on how good the data is. if you give it a lot of data about liquid death, and it is a lot of data, it's actually very useful data, right? So it's the strategy is clean data in, clean data out. Meaning, but if you start to confuse it with a bunch of different other things that have nothing to do with liquid death, then it could potentially hinder your response, right? But if you're like fully focused on that, then yeah, it will be so as long as it's focused on that specific topic, then it will be helpful. In terms of like the weight scale, it just causes kind of the AI is a smart thing that knows how to weigh it properly. We don't kind of train it, hey, weight this more versus weight this more, right? I think we let the AI do the work on that part. But yeah, I'll let you,
Yes.
you have anything else to say, Kazi, you can say.
Paul, were you gonna say
No,
something?
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's really good, Nas. I agree with that. It's just for it's underlying underneath like the AI, like ChatGPT or Claude, it's deciding how to weigh it. The main thing is exactly what he said. Just give it specific information. That's why you would use Poppy. Otherwise, you would just use ChatGPT or Claude. Because I
Yeah.
still use ChatGPT and Claude. If I don't need to train it on specific information, it does. If it doesn't need like heavy loads, like if I don't need a very precise result, um, I can just go to ChatGPT. But the problem most of the times that happens for me is that I'm like, write in my voice. ChatGPT writes very like cringy, robotic sounding
Generic.
things that I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, that's not my voice because it's trained on, I hope this email finds you well before
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I hate when it starts off with that. Like that's just such an annoying thing. But it does that all the time because it's trained on like millions of emails. And so then when I'm using Poppy, I'm like, no. Like I'm like, it's okay. Forget about all those emails. Like
Yeah.
just these are the three emails that exist. Just don't
Yeah.
focus on this. Write something like this and you'll create a banger. And then, yeah, it'll give me something amazing.
I think
Oh,
that there's another question here on would it make sense to competitive some separately so it doesn't pull in too much liquid death? I would say to that, like that's going to be the follow-up session on using this for briefs and stuff. And I think one of the things here that like it did a pretty good job building a brand brief, but if you were to connect in your agency's brief template so that you have all of the things that would make it totally relevant to your agency, your work, and everything else, that's just as valid to put in the mix with all of these resources. You almost kind of are like giving it the framework in which you want the output.
I
And
love
so
that.
not to like overkill it, I think it's a good idea to do a consumer one, a customer one, or
Yeah.
sorry, consumer one, a brand one, a culture one, and kind of like then bring them together later. But yeah, not we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I
love that
like
idea,
that.
Paul, because like we have a lot of customers who are SEO agencies and ads agencies, for example, they have their certain templates for how they want to do certain things, right? And they would just bring that in. That's a template that the AI uses to be able to write, either the brand brief or the ad script, whatever it might be, with that specific template. And so yeah, that I think it's a great idea, Paul.
Question
Yeah.
for you guys here.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Kazi. I'll go after you.
No. You go. You go.
I think one of the concerns that a lot of strategists have is around, privacy of the data. Because of course you end up with clients that you don't want to put their private data into ChatGPT because it's being used to train, the machine. How is privacy here? How is it in a walled garden? Is it open? Like how does that work?
Yeah. So the privacy here is in like the walled garden that you talked about. It's within this product and nothing. And ChatGPT and Claude, you can opt in to train them, and we have not opted into that. So this data does not train their models.
Yeah.
They have explicit way you can like apply to be trained. We don't do that. So this data does not train their model, and then your data like therefore is private. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say opportunity
Because
to
if
make
you if
something
you
that doesn't
because if
exist
you
yet.
just if you like connect it and they disconnect it and then it just doesn't know about it. Do you see what I mean? So only when you connect the data, then it only knows about that. So yeah.
Yeah. And then Conrad's thing, so I actually just want to like hit it. Like so when Conrad brought it up earlier, like, hey, I'm curious if it can use this data to concept
Yeah.
new products. You can literally just write that in. So now you can like try that. So it's just like use this data to concept new products in an adjacent category. That's what he said, right? And so just pop that in, and based on what it sees here, let's see if it could just like concept a new product so it's like instead of liquid death, you might have like a
Definitely.
hydration drink.
Death metal mints.
That's
Reaper's
yeah.
brew.
There you go. The
Bone
death
broth.
metal
And
man.
I'll zoom in this for you guys so you guys can
Oh,
see it better.
bone broth. Nice.
Yeah.
Bone broth of the damned. That is actually cool.
Hellfire hot sauce. Oh, that's cool.
Wait, what's zombie juice?
Zombie energy drink, natural plant-based energy drink. Tagline: reanimate your day.
Pretty good.
Shit.
It's not bad.
Burn your tongue, not the planet.
Liquid
Hellfire
life.
hot sauce.
Oh my god, liquid life, vitamin, water, and nutrient enhanced water.
This is good. So there you go. It can do that. You can ask it. It's
Yeah.
much smarter than us. So it'll do a better job.
Yeah. And now I could be like, let's pick one, for example. Can we pick like let's just say what one should we pick?
I like that zombie juice one's pretty
The
good.
zombie juice one? Let's do this one. So I'm gonna copy this one and I'll be like, hey, create for me a brand brief for a zombie juice.
There you go.
The
Yep.
realm on energy that brings you back from the brink without the junk. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, plant-based energy boost in sustainable packaging, natural, energized, sustainable, rebellious, innovative, brand voice, witty, sarcastic, bold, right? Born with liquid death and lineage, zombie juice rises to meet the needs of the living dead. Original zombie juice, flavored variants, sugar-free options. That's super cool. Yeah, so you can see like now it's like because you have the right data, you have such clean data, you can now be very, very creative with it, basically. Any other questions you guys will love to kind of use this? And what's cool as well, just so you know, so yes, you can create, use AI here, but for example, then what you can do technically, then let's just say here on the right side, you have this here, for example. I'll bring this into here, and we have like a Notion editor that you can use that allows you now to edit this. So maybe you want to write an article on this, or maybe you want to do something. It just becomes like a normal Notion editor. So, right, you can bold it, you can headline it, whatever it might be. So maybe this is like how you create your brand, for example, here. Boom, really
Yeah, so if
quickly.
you're actually making the brief and you want to edit it or write it, you don't have to go to Google Docs or Notion on the side, because generally that's what you would have
This
to do. And so
becomes-
we were just like, let's put it in one place.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Any,
So
any questions from the group here before we?
I want to, drop in questions. I would love to see them, and I'll demo one more
I have a
thing as
quick
well.
question for you guys. So,
Yeah.
oftentimes whenever we are briefing creative as strategists, we want to provide some imagery, inspiration, especially on the briefing meeting. Does this create imagery as well?
Yeah. So right now, no.
Okay.
Right now, no. But we are looking into adding image generation.
When you're saying just to be clear, you're talking about image generation, right? That like ChatGPT
Image
can do.
generation, is one way to go about it, or sourcing images, from the internet for us to create like not a mood board per se, but be able to provide a little bit more color, in between the lines.
I love it. Okay. So yeah, if you bring in your own images, it can put those in. So that's something that we haven't shown you guys. I don't even know if Naz, you know about that, but it's super cool. Like if you actually have it write an email and you can say like use pop in some of the images I gave you, it can actually do that. But I understand your question. We don't have to demo that because Pedro's question is different. And so right now, no. But we have that on the roadmap where we're adding features, shipping new features almost every single day. Like TikTok was not here until yesterday. And then 3 days ago, we didn't have like any other models except for like Sonnet and GPT.
I will, Pedro, give you an insight though that I have done with this, which is you know, we do a lot of brand design at Sister Mercy, so we got everybody in the agency a subscription to Poppy for the year. And one of the things our creatives are doing is they're taking their mood board images and dropping them in here and using the Poppy to generate write-ups in terms of like brand tone based on the visuals and like, and also like for one of our creatives who's a little bit shy, she's putting her mood board in to create a script so when she's selling it to the client, she's not forgetting anything, and it also helping her identify elements of the design that she was like, I was like aware of it on a sublingual level, but it allowed me to kind of bring it out into the open and talk more eloquently about how why this font goes with this image, things like that. So we're actually finding that not only are we using it in my own agency for strategy, but the creatives are using it as well. So just like as a the sky's the limit with this tool, I believe.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank
I'm
you.
not getting paid to say that either, by the way. I just love it. So that's all.
Not
You get a
yet,
free
Paul. Wink,
subscription,
wink.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, sign up with my affiliate link, please. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Kathleen says, can you clarify which sources you can use and which you can't? And so, yeah, there's a lot of sources you can use. I'm going to share my screen here real quick, Naz, if that's cool.
Yep, go ahead.
And so, for example, even right now, right, like after I get off this is one of the things that I would do when I get off a webinar. Hopefully you guys see my recorder right here. And I'm going to click this. So I'm just going to, so I generally do a briefing after my webinars. Now, I don't know, generally speaking, I don't know the stats. Paul, how many total members of this group that like, you know,
of the APG? I don't know, Michelle, you would have that information. We around 1,000 members.
Okay.
I was going to say 200, but yeah, we'll take 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle, you said 200. Okay, so
we
what I would
paid members, our community is much larger.
Cool, understood. And so so basically, theoretically, if everybody showed up, there'd be 600 members here.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So basically, if I hit this recorder, right, what I would say, because I do this for my own webinars too, and now I'm just recording, you can hear my voice. So I'll just be like, hey, we did a webinar today, 600 people are members of this group, 24 showed up. Overall, it was really good. We demoed the product, PoppyAI. People asked questions. We did Q&A. And yeah, so this is just a short recording that I just did right over here. And it's actually now trying to understand my voice and what I said in here. And in a few seconds, hopefully, it's going to be done. And now it's like done. I can see the entire transcript of what it wrote, right? And I can, if I wanted to play that audio, I can play that audio and I will just connect it to the chat and I will just say, what does this say? Or I can just say, get key insights from this. And I can actually break it down. And so I can just be like, okay, give me the members, show up rates. And if I even ask it for things like show up rate, it will actually tell me like, okay, this is a percentage of the people that showed up. This is what happened. And I would do that after my webinars. Like, you know, I'd be like, this many people purchased. So then it would also give me this is the conversion rate of of what happened. And so every webinar that I would do, I would have like the breakdown of how it went, why did it go that way, and have like postmortem of it. And so Kathleen, you could drop in voice as well. And then the last thing that we didn't show is like, you can drop in documents as well. So that's PDF documents, your Google Drive documents. And so you could drag and drop those in here and it understands those as well.
So if we were to, let's say, drop a PowerPoint, all we have to do, a PowerPoint deck, we just have to save it in PDF and then we're able to upload it.
Yeah, well, however you have it on your computer. But yeah, if you have like a PDF version of it, then you can drop the PDF version and then you should have access.
We actually can take in PowerPoints too, depending on how like the PowerPoint is. But we do have customers who are bringing in PowerPoints, and then, yeah, and then it just converts it behind the scenes into a usable, you know, content that we use.
Yeah, so like if I want to grab a PDF, here's a PDF. I just got it right here. And so, yeah, whatever document you have. So if it's a PowerPoint, you could bring in a PowerPoint. If it's a Word document, Google document, it's a...
Does it do Excel as well?
Yeah, and Excel too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it can get in, it'll read Excel and understand what's in there.
Yes.
Or
Like
CSVs as
again,
well.
making this agency related, our finance ops people are all putting their spreadsheet and things like that to
Oh,
help
that's
with
super cool.
scoping, to help with critical paths, all of those other things. So it
That's
Yeah.
does Excel really pretty good, actually.
that's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so that's
that's
a good
pretty
use
much it.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much of a strategist's work up front is like, going through research, right? And let's say if you run a primary research study, you get a lot of data. And for you to try to make sense and, draw correlations, sometimes the research agency does it, but sometimes it's on the strategist. So what you're saying is I can upload the Excel into this tool and it's going to help me basically draw insights from the data.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Like the whole goal is
Exactly.
to, because like I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like, right, when you bring in all this research, it's like trying to make sense of it is like super hard because there's some different sources, websites, articles, etc., right? And it's like try to make sense of all of that. And the whole goal is just to create chaotic, you know, information, chaotic thoughts into, curated thoughts, into curated information. And so that's the whole goal with kind of what we're trying to do here.
Yep.
Right on.
Cool.
And then you can put meeting transcripts and all that jazz. So the transcripts from this meeting, for example, you can upload it
Yep.
and mix it in. That's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I always just drop the message notes from the note taker as like a text file and connect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost all of my Poppy stuff has like tons of transcripts as part of it. To the point now that when we're ideating, we do more verbal ideating because it's going to get captured and we can throw it in the tool and manipulate the data a lot faster. So it actually
Yes.
opens up less time for us to lock ourselves into a room to make documents and spend more time collaborating and talking about the work and using AI to kind of facilitate the manual labor part of like building decks and things like that, right?
So,
Yep.
so yeah, so I'm just really curious. You guys have seen it. What do you guys think? I'm curious. Do you feel like this is something that helps brand strategists? No, I'm just curious, just as like feedback for us as well.
I mean, I can start. I would say that one of the big benefits here I find is being able to curate the inputs. I think that's huge, and the fact that it is private, that's also huge because oftentimes we don't go down the ChatGPT route because it's not private, and they don't want to put customer information in the public domain. So that is very cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Perfect.
I love how quick this is. Like you've literally shaved at least 2 weeks, I think, off my timeline that I would
wow.
normally do. But what I also loved is what you started with in the beginning, that it's visual. I think I wrote in the chat like this is like a war room on steroids. So back in the day when we were working on a pitch or something, you'd have a room and you'd put up whatever you could find up on walls and you'd try and synthesize it yourself. And I
Yeah.
just love that, and I'd agree. I haven't really, I mean, I haven't played around with that many platforms, but I haven't seen that many that are very visual. And so I do quite like how it feels like it feels more like a mural board, like you can kind of just like manipulate and move things around. And I also love how then the inspiration is kind of all just there in terms of what it generates. So yeah, it's really cool. It's fun to play with too, which I like.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think we put the ease of use like very very high, like because there's other people that we know who do similar type situation things, but like it's very much for technical people, very technical. I think for us it's just how easy can we make it happen. That's super cool.
So I think the question that everybody probably has before we start, closing this lunch and learn is pricing. How is the current pricing structure for something like that for a strategy?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So I'll just show you guys. But basically, this is the page here, and it walks you down. And currently, the pricing, this is the pricing. So it is $299 per year right here, and 89 monthly because we want to incentivize you to get the yearly one and keep you as customers for the whole year. And yeah, that's it. The pricing is really simple. So that's how the pricing works right now. And then depends on if you
FYI, USD. These
oh
are all
yeah,
USD.
yes. So USD, that's correct. So that would be more in Canadian.
Times 1.3.
Times 1.3. Okay. So
And for
that
those of
would
you
be
and for those of you guys who are interested in, for example, checking it out, we created a coupon code Paul, Paul, because
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
can enter for the yearly pricing, and then that will give you $25 off. So
okay. So let's try Paul. Hit apply. Does it work?
yeah, there we go.
Oh, it worked.
And there's my face even. That's so funny.
Hell yeah.
Oh, then there's your face. That's so funny on the bottom left.
Thank you, Paul, for those kind words. That means a
Yeah,
lot.
of course, always. Yeah, this is really good. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
how
so
you
I
know the
put
testimonials are real. They're not fake.
you
didn't
have a
make them
real
up.
person there.
Well, right on, guys. Thank you, Paul. I'm not sure anything else you wanted to say before we start closing down here.
No, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks where we'll kind of like take what you guys have helped us build and we'll show you exactly how, using the 4Cs framework. That's like exactly how I've incorporated into our agency overall, into our agency workflow. So if you guys are curious about more use cases and some surprising things like my patented taxonomy filter that I've created as a different way to generate insights out of Poppy, we'll see you in 2 weeks. But thanks for everyone showing up.
That would be amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, you guys are welcome to come back too.
Can I come in there? Can
Yeah,
I go in there now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are welcome.
Yeah, we want to learn. We want to be like, yo, how did this happen?
So everybody that's on the call, bookmark your calendars, October 29th, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. And for the folks in the West Coast, that will be 9 a.m. Michelle, anything you want to kind of leave us with before we close up?
No, that's awesome. Thanks again for taking us through this. Pedro for hosting, Paul for setting this up. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. Really, really appreciate it, guys. And it was super fun to meet you guys and to work with you guys here through yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was awesome. Really appreciate like coming on here. And you guys have great energy too, so it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Everybody.
All right, take care,
Good night.
guys. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye.